Once again, welcome to your favorite game, Underground 2. Oh my gosh, guys, come on, you can't tell me blue doesn't fit Subaru. I love it. Even myself, I would really like to buy a Subaru, but my wife is like, no. Then I decided I'm gonna rebel, come to Need for Speed Underground 2 and tune it up. What's up everyone, I'll be sharing my drag tune with you guys. I spent a lot of hours, well, probably an hour going towards an hour and a half. I spent it on trying to get a proper tune for this car. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not one of the strongest cars in this game. But let me tell you, it makes great times. For the drag meter pulls against other cars that are powerful, this Subaru is actually holding up. So we're gonna quickly do a dyno for drag and we're gonna see how much power it has. And that is a rapid 350 kilowatts and let's say 540 Newton meters. So this is still powerful, don't get me wrong, but there is stronger cars out there. So you're probably looking at your results now, your dyno tune. There might be a possibility that your kilowatts and Newton meters are not as much as mine. Don't worry, I got your back covered. I'm gonna break this video down into 4 sections. Section number 1 is where I'm gonna show you my tune, because this is why you're here, to see my tune. In my tune, I'm going to show you how to tune your ECU and your turbo. So if yours isn't tuned like mine, you might actually really lose dyno powers over there. Power there. Sorry. And then for the second part, we are going to do our 400 meter pull. After that, I'm going to take you guys to the performance upgrade section, and over there I'm going to show you obviously what I've installed, how I've installed it to get this amount of power. So a lot of people, they are actually making a lot of mistakes there, and I figured something out that can help you a lot. Nevertheless, for the 4th section, we are going to do a drag race against opponents. So let's quickly go to tune settings. We're going to go to suspension, and here is your magic juice. So the rear is a bit higher than the front. Reason being for that is, as soon as you pull away, the front of the car lifts up, the rear of the car goes down, and that's obviously going to balance out. As the rear goes down, the front goes up, they're going to meet each other halfway. If I have to drag the rear springs all the way too low, it's going to look like the Titanic, because the nose is going to go up and it's going to go higher than the rear, and the rear is going to go down. It all has to do with transferring weight from the front to the back on acceleration. So for the springs, as you guys can see, the front shocks and the front springs, they're about the same. Reason for that is because obviously it's more, okay, before I get into that, I want you guys to quickly look at the front and the rear. Front springs, front shocks. Rear shocks, rear springs. The rear is the same and the front is the same. Why aren't they, both of them, equal, the same? So what happens is, as the weight transfers from the front to the back, is going to put more weight down on your rear axle. So obviously by having it a bit stiffer, it's going to allow your car not to bring as much weight to the back, because the softer your rear springs is, the easier it will go down. Common sense. So obviously this car is 4-wheel drive. You don't want all the weight to go to the back and have no weight in the front, because that means your front wheels are going to spin. So in this way, it actually just balances it out. And then over here, for the sway bars, I like to have it at maximum. So under any strong and powerful engine, you can actually get that your body of your car is flexing towards the power. So by having a front sway bar in the front and the rear, obviously not as much in the rear, but in the front, for me, it's very critical to have it at stiff. Just make sure that obviously as soon as we pull away, there's no body flexing, nothing of the wheels turning or cambering or anything like that. Obviously, I don't think this game's technology or physics is that good, but it's still something that's in the back of my mind. So just to help us go in a straight line. For the drivetrain, here it is. Take a screenshot, write it in your book, write it in your girlfriend's book, whatever you want to do. Take a photo. These are the secret juice once again. So for the aerodynamics on this car doesn't really spin at all. So if it does spin, it's a little bit in first gear. And obviously in first gear, your speed is not that much to actually be like a downforce, be any benefit to you. Maybe only from third gear upwards, I would say it's gonna really start taking place. But having no traction problems in that high gear and all of a sudden you want downforce, it's gonna be like a wall just driving through the wind. It's gonna just slow you down. You're gonna have even worse top end speed. So just turn all of them off. For the aerodynamics, for the tires and brakes, we've got all of them at strong's just gonna allow us to have more grip. So here we are at the ECU and turbo. If you guys don't know how to tune it, in the top right corner I'm going to give you guys a card. You can go and click on it where I briefly explain to you guys what you want to do, why you want to do it, and etc and etc. So what I want you guys to look at, I just want to fix this, there we go. So what I want you guys to look at, the blue over here, the top darker blue, means that is where all your power is. The red means this is where no power is. So obviously between 0 to 1000 RPMs, you don't want any power because that's where you're idling. Why would you need so much power over there and lose power on the big end? You understand, for what? So then over here from 1 to 2, also in any race we are almost never between 1000 and 2000 RPMs. Probably the only time that we are there is if we crashed, and I'm not planning to crash. Going over the turbo, it works exactly the same. So it's no power, no power, no power, and then the power ramps up here at 4000 RPMs and then full boost all the way, because that's where your power lays, at higher RPMs. So why have more power at lower RPMs, especially when it comes to a drag race? Okay, so going over your nitros, we have got it just over 4 seconds. It's about 5 seconds, I would say now. There we go. So let's quickly do our 400 meter pull. Listen to that engine. Come on, 8.15. That is insane. So before we continue with all of this stuff now, I could have had better speeds of my top speed over here, but literally I just remained in 5th gear and nearly blew my engine because this race wasn't for more than 400 meters. I just wanted to get the 400 meter time. So that is 8.15. That, guys, trust me when I tell you, that is magnificent. For a car with almost 70 kilowatts less than a TT, it's almost making the exact same power. And I think it's even 30 kilowatts less than the Tiburon. No, this car was 350, the Tiburon is at 383. So that is what? 33 kilowatts less than the Tiburon, and is making the same passes as the Tiburon. That is magnificent. Even looking at the 0 to 100 is 1.88. That is insane. Burnout distance 1.58 meters. I did have a bit of spinning problems in 2nd gear. I don't know if you guys saw it, where the RPMs just stayed up and then I just shifted after a while. Usually it doesn't happen. It all depends on how your first shift was and so forth. But average for this car, I would definitely say, is about 8.20 to 8.30, but yeah, getting it into the 8.10s, and also I think my best with it was 8.08, so it's very, very good. Okay, so let's quickly go to the performance upgrades, where I can show you guys exactly what I've done to the car. There we go. So for the engine, I don't know how familiar you guys are with all of these things. So technically, I have got stage 3 installed. If you look here, stage 3, everything is installed, but also everything on stage 2 is installed. And we've got one thing installed at stage 1. So this is not me cheating. There is no cheat. This is in the game. How darn awesome this game is that, look at this. Cold air intake system, alright? Okay, no, let's leave the cold air intake system. Let's go to the performance exhaust. Here you can see we've got a performance exhaust. We go to section number 2. We can see we've got a catback exhaust now, which is better than the performance exhaust. So that is why this one is installed, because it replaced the performance exhaust. And also at the same time, it's got a larger diameter downpipe. Downpipe is still part of the exhaust, so it's also installed. So that is how cool it is. Literally, if you install stage 1, it's cancelling out the catback exhaust and also the racing camshaft and gears. But because we have installed it already, we still have got ports and polished heads, blueprints on the block. So obviously here you guys can see we've got high flow headers and racing camshaft and gears. Here we have got mid camshaft and gears, not the racing ones, and just replace headers. So obviously installing number 3 is going to be an upgrade for the camshafts and the high flow headers. I hope that makes sense for you guys. So what you want to do is install stage 1, install stage 2, install stage 3. Go to your ECU, install stage 1, install stage 2, install stage 3. If you only installed stage 3, you would have literally not have a high flow fuel pump. You wouldn't have had any of these fuel rails, fuel filters, remove top speed limiter, and all of these things. Imagine only being able to go a certain amount of speed. That is why going from stage 3, well, where is it? Going from what do you call it? From stock standard to stage 1. That is why the ECU always gives you this massive bump. Okay, so let's continue. For the transmissions, install all 3. For the suspension, install all 3. For the nitros, only install the last one. For the tires, only install the last one. For the brakes, install all 3. For the weight, install all 3. Literally, look at that. Installed, 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 installed. If you only installed stage 3, you would have still had it weight over here. Going over the turbo, only install the final one. There we go. As simple as that. So let's quickly go and do a race. And look at that. Oh, this Subaru is flying. We're a couple of cars ahead of them. So once again, this car doesn't have the most kilowatts, so it's not the best at top end, but it gets the work done. 23.52, actually a very bad time of me. I think I short shifted 3 gears, but that's not too bad. Let's quickly see here at race stats. Perfect shifts 3 out of 6. Yeah, 3 of them I short shifted. That sucks. We would have had better. Would have had like very low 23s, maybe 23.10, somewhere around there. I remember I was very close to breaking into the 22s. So that is one of the reasons why I placed so much effort in this car. Nevertheless, guys, thank you so much for watching. I do hope that this video helped you out. If you are still watching now, you are done awesome. You're a true supporter, and I love you. No, just friends love. No, I'm kidding. Okay, anyway, if you guys did find this video useful, informative, educational, or just entertaining, please make sure to drop a big like. If you would love to support the channel, especially if you're new, hit the logo at the bottom right corner to subscribe. If you want to see a similar video, hit the icon on the left. If you want to see one of my most recent videos, hit the icon on the right, and then I'll see all of you legends in my next video. But for now, peace out, everyone.